Hello, hello, hello. Here we are again at the Global Empowerment Summit. I am here with Roland from Hungary. I will mute you a little bit until we are starting and adapting to the mic. Welcome, dear audience. This is the third week of the Global Empowerment Summit from the 6 weeks where we are here for you with more than 200 experts. We are giving you a lot of advices and proposals for many, many areas of your lives, and we hope we can be value of for you. And today we will talk about a very specific topic with Roland, which will be about community building and community platforms, which is his and his company's specific focus. So Roland, I know that everyone starts with a professional question, but I will just start with a question that is asking, who is Roland and what's your favorite food?
I would like to welcome everyone, and thank you, Andrea, for inviting me for this fantastic live event, and congratulations for the whole summit. So who am I and what's my favorite food? That's a very tricky question, because my favorite food is always depends on what season we are in, because here in Hungary we have 4 different seasons, and interestingly, I have my favorite food depending on the season. So right now is autumn. So definitely one of my favorite foods for autumn and winter time is gulyás. It's a traditional Hungarian soup, and I really like it to make it very spicy, because it keeps you warm in the inside when outside it's quite cold.
That's really funny that you mentioned this, because I'm living in Asia, Malaysia, which is kind of like the place where they love hot, spicy food.
Yes.
So you can come and try goulash, and then we can explain you the recipe, and then it can warm you up just like your own dishes here in Malaysia. Roland, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, and tell me a little bit about your company, Posi, because I know you are working on so many amazing projects. So just introduce yourself and your company a little bit.
All right. Where do I start? It's always funny that to think about in the last couple of years, because since we started Posi, it's been a roller coaster, because we've been doing so many great projects, and it was really hard to pick the one that you've been committing yourself fully and 100%. And basically, I was studying engineering in the university, and I was working for big multinational companies. It was a classic career path for me for almost a decade, when I realized that I would like to build something for myself and for the people I like to work with. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I started to work first as a freelancer, as an advisor. Then slowly I get in touch with the startup ecosystem and the startup community, and I was really I was not just interested, but I was really drawn to the pace and to the mindset of how startup founders are building their companies. So I started to learn about all the startups, how the startups work, and how do you build a startup. And about 2 years ago, I would say about 2 years ago, I met my co-founders, who are really veterans for the startup ecosystem, and we started to talk about what are the good and the bad sides of the startup ecosystem here in Central Eastern Europe, and what are we lacking. within the ecosystem compared to other ecosystem, for example, Southeast Asia, Israel, the US, and we started to talk about that. That the startup ecosystem is really scattered in the region and in general, would say in Europe. And I mean by that, we have a lot of opportunities for startup founders, for example, a lot of incubator programs, accelerator programs, more and more venture capitals pop up in major cities. So there's a lot of opportunity, but we always missed is that the continuity of support for early stage startup founders. And ourselves also as a startup, we were always struggling to see what's the next step. So for bright ideas that we meet in competitions and hackathons, it's really hard to tell them which way to go, because they are so confused because the information overload that they find on the internet, and we wanted to help them in a way that somehow we smooth the journey and help them to focus on what's important. So that was the moment when we figured out that the currently existing social media platforms are not really suited for innovators. They are great to connect people, to meet new people, to network, but it's not really suited to, for example, if you have a great idea, to validate your idea, to find the best industry experts who can help you figure it out. Is this the idea that can be built into a suitable business, or you need to change it somehow? So that was the point when we figured we need to build an innovation meeting point where all the players of the ecosystem who are interested in the same topics, which is obviously innovation, they can meet, they can help each other, they can support each other, and this way we can build sustainable businesses. So that's the short story of how we started to build our platform. And actually, we just a couple of weeks ago we've been celebrated our first birthday. So so Posi.io is up and running like a little bit more than a year ago.
I will share the link in the comments later, but yeah, it's a great platform. I'm there also as a mentor, and I'm really loving the conversations that are going on right now. You have the Restart 2021, which is kind of like a competition for all the different ideas, and you are helping through the mentors, right, to help them to validate their idea and to also give them some help in the process. So it's really, really good. Please try it. I will just put the link in the comments very soon. And when it comes to innovation, when it comes to community platforms, what do you think was the biggest hurdles to in creating something very useful? So from the inside, because you are the creators of Posi.io, so what was the hardest thing to put into a digital world?
Okay, I always say that the hardest thing is that currently right in front of you. But in the beginning, all the time, early stage founders are struggling to raise capital, to how to start build something out of thin air. When something is just in your mind, it's really hard to imagine that who would give you their own money to support your dreams and your ideas. So I would say that as an early stage founder, is always the hardest thing is to the find the best way to support financially your ideas, because for us, finding the co-founders, it was quite easy, because somehow life drew us into each other, and that was quite easy. But there are many things that early stage founders are struggling with. So I would say that raising capital was one of them. The second was to validating your idea, to really go out there, talk to the people who has a problem, and you might have a solution, and talk to them, ask them for their ideas. What do they think about your solution? Will they use it, your solution? So that's always a hard nut to crack, and obviously for this you need a lot of time and determination to go forward. For example, we launched the platform after only like 2 weeks of software development. So it was, you really couldn't really do anything on the platform, just creating your profile and that's it. So that was our MVP. That was our start, and we were just really interested that will they even people sign up. So that's just a question. We just I remember clearly we just had a cover photo and just like a few sentence, what is posi.io and what are we trying to achieve. So we were really curious that are people going to be interested, and in a couple of weeks we had our first 500 users, which was uh, really shocking for us. We didn't expect it this much interest in the early times. But after a few weeks, we announced that our first competition, our first innovation competition, will be set in September, last year September. That was the first version of Restart innovation competition, and we had around 80 startups and 40 different ideas signing up as applicants. So that was the pivotal moment for us when we realized, okay, we have something interesting here that can be something big. So but this whole time was about 5 or maybe 6 months period. So it took some time before we realized that, okay, we have something in our hands, that we have something to build here. So and this is the hardest part, to survive that long. And obviously there are many other hard parts building a startup, but I would say that in the early phase, the two most hardest thing is to validate your idea with your future users and to raise capital.
I just talked to Tamesh, I think a week ago, and you have so many ideas, the other co founder, and it's kind of like very nice to see how you all work together to make this a success. And I remember that he told me that you just got a capital investment and you got some beautiful support. So it's really nice to see that you grow from zero to hero, basically,
Yes.
just by your hard work. But it was an adventure or an advantage for you, right? That you have an in-house developer, right?
Um, I would say that the first group of developers, we not my co-founders met them in a previous competition, so they knew each other long time ago, and obviously they helped us to develop the first version of the platform. That was a huge help, and I'm not sure that we would be here without them right now. So there was one guy who was a senior developer, and he basically worked us for free because we didn't had any money, and a couple of months later we find an angel investor who could help us pay at least the developers. So it was obviously a huge help, but I would say that finding a developer is not really the problem. Uh, the problem is that how do you convince a developer to help you build something that might even not be a success? So it's I think that's the hardest part, and I really like to read about successful people and how they get to the top of everything. For example, I remember a couple of years ago I was reading the biography of Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin, And he said that if you can convince totally strangers to help you build your dreams, definitely you're going to be a success. And I think this is the same goes for early stage tech startup founders. If they can convince at least one developer to help them building, even if it's for free, obviously, in the first couple of months, I believe that you are set yourself in the path of success.
Great tips here, I believe. So startups, if you are listening to us, here are some tips from Roland, who already went through this period with the people in the team. But I also would like to ask you one question, which was brought up by this conversation just right now, that the trust for the developers in the developers, because yeah, okay, you will find the developer, there are many out there, okay, you convince them to come on board for free, but how do you trust them that they will not, take the whole idea, because they are creating the platform, and if you are not the one who knows a lot about developing, you don't know the coding or whatever they are using, it's a kind of like a risky situation to have them build something and not let them make it their own, right? You never
Yes.
had this question in your head?
Not really, but this is a question that we got all the time from founders who are uploading their one pager. So basically, they're making visible
The
for
idea, right?
anyone their
Mm-hmm.
ideas and their startups. And I always say that people are not even willing to realize or implement their own dreams. So why would they steal somebody else's and do that? So that's one thing to think about it before anyone creeps out to someone stealing their idea. The second is uh, with regards developer, as you said, that I believe that if you cannot code, you have to take that risk. It's simple as that, because obviously to go to a level of at least a meteor developer level, it takes 5, 6, 7 years of hard work and study. Good luck doing that, and after building your startup. So I would say that obviously building a startup and a business, you have to take a lot of risks, so your risk appetite has to be in a high level uh, to 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 be successful. And I believe that I never heard a story that someone hired a developer and the developer got away the code and made a $1 million company. So it's not really something that could happen. I believe that is our fears that hold back most of the time early stage founders, the fear of failure, the fear of someone stealing my idea. And I believe that we have to go past, and we have to uh, leave behind all our fears if you want to be successful, because that's the way we go forward, not just in business but in life as well.
So another wisdom nugget here, don't be afraid, just go with it and ask people about your idea, whether it's good or not, and then go for it further and further. Ask as many people
Yes.
as you can. Validate your idea on platforms like Posi
Yes,
and
and the beautiful thing is that people are willing to help, and that simple is that if you find the like-minded people who has the same mindset, the same ambitions that you have, they will help you. We were really surprised that when the pandemic hit, everybody stayed at home. Obviously, all the offline events went bust. So we had to find new ways to network people. And we started to email really high level people in the startup ecosystem, uh, venture capitalists. And some of them were personally answering their emails. Like really, if you have something if you have an important question, and if you have an interesting question or problem, they are willing to help you. So don't be shy, just shoot out a couple of emails. and that couple, I mean a couple of hundreds. but yeah, so it's not a problem. It's not the problem that others won't help us. The problem is that we don't ask for help, because we are wired that asking help might be or might seem as a weakness. And I believe that if you are willing to ask help, and admitting that you are not the trick of all treats, and you are willing to risk that someone will say no, because we don't like to be refused, obviously. But that's also something that you have to get used to it if you want to build a startup or a successful business.
I just shared the Restart 2021 also in the link. So if you want to check out what is it about and maybe join the next competition that you will most probably have very soon,
Yes.
then you can already get familiar. How does it work? How the mentors help? How do you have to submit your ideas? So please check it out. I put also Posi there. So if you want to get to know or join even the platform, please make sure that you are there. Let's go further. We have still 10 minutes to go. So around the startup ideas and about incubators, you are in this field for a long time. So what can an incubator house or community help with for startups, and how to choose? Because there are so many people now doing the same thing. And if I am a startup, how will I decide which one is the best for me?
Yes. If you are an early stage founder and you don't really have a very precise and specific idea what you want to build, I would say that join the closest incubator or join the closest accelerator program, and start going to networking events
You
and
mean
get to know.
geographically?
Yes,
Geographically,
yes, I would say
location-wise? Mhm.
geographically, because uh, if you are alone out there, you have to find a co-founder. At least that was my biggest takeover. That when I tried to do something alone, I realized after a while that I cannot do it alone, because I'm a team player, and I really like to share my ideas with people around me. So that's a first. Join a community wherever you live, the closest one, and get to know people with the same mindset. In a professional point of view, I would say that obviously we have our unique skills and experiences, but you have to find your counterparts, because once again, you cannot know everything, and you cannot be good at everything. So it's really fortunate that I find my co-founders, because uh, we think about the same things very differently most of the time, and we are good at really different things. So it's like we are the we are complementing each other. So that's the best fit, I would say. That in incubator wise, when you are getting forward and you have a clear vision of what you are trying to build, I would say that try to find those hubs and programs that can offer that specific industry knowledge and support that you are pursuing, because we often see that people are joining to accelerator or incubator programs, which one is the easiest to get in. And that's sometimes it's a good fit, but most of the times it's not very good. So for example, if you are an early stage founder in Southeast Asia, and you are trying to get in the US market, it's not really good if you join an accelerator program, for example, in France or in the UK. So try to find a program in the US, in that market, where you are trying to step your foot in, and you will have the most help for that, because when I see that founders are doing these programs, or finding a VC from that specific market, that is a really huge advantage to learn the mindset of those people. For example, we are really looking to get to know more in the Southeast Asian region. So it was a really good fit for us that our investor is from Singapore. So that's a really good fit. And I would say that strive to get to know people from that region where you are trying to build your business.
I love this point. So concentrate on the target audiences. So your business's target audiences,
Yes.
market, location, geographic
Yes.
location, and find accelerator programs and informations about communities and
Yes.
opportunities in that region, not in the region where you are, right?
Yes, but I would say that this is like the second stage of your startup. In the first stage, it doesn't really matter that where you are living. Just find the closest one, because you will be more motivated to join the networking events and to join the community if it's close to you. I know that because we people are lazy kind of beings, so we try to do the easiest thing, which is okay. I believe that's the entrepreneur life. So it's
Not to mention the time zones. If you are
yes,
targeting the
exactly.
US and you are in Southeast Asia, for example, and then you try to match the time zones, well, good luck
Yes.
with that to calculate all the things.
Yes, I remember that we've been in contact with a VC that who is living in the west coast of the US. So it was a nightmare to schedule any meetings with her. It's yeah, because during the day here it's completely the middle of the night in her time zone. So it was always a struggle.
That's really true. That's really true. So, just saying good hi to all the people who are watching us. Thank you very much for watching. We have someone called Splendid Peace. Hi, very nice to see you here. And also, if you have questions, please put it under this post, even after the live show, because I will make it happen that it gets to Roland and he can answer them, and I will post it on the feed. So don't be shy and ask your questions. Also, if you would like to check out Posi.io, then please go to this link here. It's a beautiful community. There are already, as I checked, like more than 100 startups, right? And more than
Yes.
1,000 members. So it's really growing and it's really starting to be super active. So try it out. And also, I believe you are having the restart competition just not right now. So if
Yes.
people want to check it, it's an international competition. So you can see how it goes, you can see the ideas, and you can follow it right away from the
Yes,
community.
actually, this Saturday we will have the final event. So there's gonna be, I believe, at least 15 startups and 5 ideas who will be pitching for our jury of investors. So if you are interested how something like this goes in an online platform, you are very welcome to join. It's completely free, so you just only have to create your profile on the platform. It takes like 2 minutes. So everyone is very welcome to join us on Saturday.
So see you there, guys. See you at Posi.io, and we will see each other many times with Roland and Tamas and the team, because we are collaborating in the future. So a lot of exciting things are coming up in Southeast Asia with the collaboration of the Global Empowerment Hub and Posi. So I'm really excited about it. Thank you very much, Roland, for being here and answering all the questions. And thank you for the audience for tuning in. We are switching the studio. Andrea is coming soon. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for being here and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Welcome everyone. So here we are. Andrea is already in the studio, so I will soon add her to the stream as soon as she is ready to join us. And we will talk about a very exciting topic. Let me see my big Excel file straight next to me. So Andrea and Sharm, let me see whether Sharm is coming. They will talk about vulnerability in leadership, which is kind of like an exciting topic. So let me just put the topic into the mainstream, and I will greet Andrea until Sharm is joining us because they will have the interview together. So hi Andrea, how are you today?
Hi, Andrea as well. I'm great. How are you? You look lovely
I'm
today.
good. Thank you very much. I was like talking to my mom and she was like, all the time this hat stand up and do something else, and we were talking about this little bunny, so I was like, let's do that.
That's super cute. Love it.
I just want to say hi to all the people in the audience, Splendid Peace, Esther Clea, and Marisa Kubinar. Hi, everyone. Really nice
Hi,
to have you
everyone.
here. Let me check with Sharm where she is. And until then, I will just play one more time our teaser. And
Sure.
after that, Andrea, if you could take over and introduce yourself a little bit, then that would help me to prepare the room. Thank you.
Sure. Cool. All right. So it's all me, I guess. Oh, okay. You're here.
I'm here too. I'm in the background just writing to Sharm. She couldn't enter the studio. So please just introduce yourself, not just the
Sure.
profession, but also personally, because our audience is very, very curious.
Cool. All right. So, hi, everybody. I'm Andrea. I call myself here, Andrea, out. I call myself as a creative expressionist. And I see a lot of people saying hello. I think, yeah, hi, Esther, Marisa as well. Alina, hi. You're from Pakistan. Nice. Yeah, I'm doing great. Hope the weather is great over there in Malaysia. It is extremely hot in Klang Valley. Everyone's complaining about the weather. Right. So yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it is at here Andrea out. I talk about a lot of things. I do a lot of things. I do music as well. I'm just very excited to be here and be part of this summit. To be honest, it's been an amazing journey with Andrea going crazy with all of us, trying to put in a lot of good stuff and good speakers together. I really applaud her for all her organization and her motivation to keep it up. Yeah, so if you have any questions at all, you can definitely drop in a comment section. I would love to answer them as we wait for Sham to join us, and then she can ask me the tough questions too. Um, Marisa says, "Oh, you're in Klang Valley. Yeah, isn't it really hot like these 2 days? It's crazy. I just cannot."
So let me help you a little bit with my questions because we
Sure,
have
go
so
ahead.
many things to share. So I believe we can also kickstart the conversation until Sharm is doing the technological part and trying to enter the studio. So Andrea, I know that
Yes.
you're working for Leaderonomics, and I was working with Leaderonomics. Roshan was part of our show last year, and she brought a lot of people like Nigel, Shu, and other people who are working for Leaderonomics. And I'm
Yes.
just a fan of this company. Maybe it's the personality of Roshan, maybe it's the things that you are doing, but I'm really happy to be part of this team. So tell us a little bit more about Leaderonomics. What is it about? What are you building? What's the
Sure.
next step?
Wow. Okay, so first of all, leaderonomics. Yes, it's a tongue twister. Everybody who has not heard of leaderonomics, they'll be like, leader economics, leaderonomics. They'll be so confused. But trust me, after a while of practicing, you'll be able to say it in a smooth sentence. So leaderonomics basically, if I were to sum it up, what we really do is trying to build people into leaders. Eventually that will build communities of love, and eventually that will transform the nation. So everything that we do, whether it is in our different businesses that we have, so we have the digital business where we provide infrastructure, whether it's to HR for employee engagement, budaya. We have Nico for learning experience platform as well for you. If you want to hit me up, I'll point you to the right direction. So that's for the digital area. So even that as an infrastructure, we keep to our mission. All that we do, whether it's for digital, for our community work, we work with youth, we work with NGOs, volunteers, and all these people as well. So that's the community side. And whether it is corporate, so we do corporate training for HR as well. We have like things like talent acceleration programs and stuff. So we do a lot of stuff in Leadronomics, to be honest. And our direction, to be honest, is what comes along the way. But ultimately, we want to build that network so that we can influence not just individuals, communities, and organizations, but we also want to influence countries, nations, and hopefully that leadership becomes something that changes a lot of problems in our lives and societies. So that's in a summary, that's what Leaderonomics
Maybe
do.
that is why we are so resonating on the same language.
Yes, correct. Change makers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Change makers and bringing the world together and helping everyone to, just to figure it out, because we are here to figure it out. At the end, everyone is just living their lives, and the main thing what we can do is to contribute in a way. And it's really a beautiful journey. So Alina is asking a question. Your expertise and your experience, would love to know your journey and the challenges too. So tell us a little bit about it.
Wow, if I were to summarize this in 2 minutes, that's going to be tough. Alina, please connect with me. We can have a longer chat. But yeah, I graduated from psychology. So my passion really in terms of career-wise, I love people. Anything people related, I enjoy it. Yes, I still want to smack some people in the head sometimes, but that is truly, honestly, that's just us as humans. So my vision or my aspiration in the future is to be a traveling clinical psychologist. So I'm heading towards my master's hopefully soon. If you know any sponsors, please let me know. I would love to take that up.
You are using the correct platform. We are here to support you.
Please, I would love that. But yeah. So that's where I'm heading towards. But currently, my pit stop is actually marketing. So I do marketing in Leadronomics. I'm the marketing strategist that oversees our brand and our products and all things marketing. So that's what I'm currently doing. Challenges. Challenges quite a bit. I mean, everybody has them, but I think my current challenge is to continue working from home. I think I want to work from home, but at the same time, I'm itching to go to the office. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether everybody is feeling the same way, but that's how I feel at this point. That's my current challenge.
Very good. I think Sharm is in the studio, so let me give the stage to Sharm, because I have to rest myself in between.
All right, okay.
So Sharm will take it over and enjoy the conversation.
All right.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
I heard you had some technical difficulties.
Major. I thought this was going to be the easy one, like, smooth sailing and all that. Nothing's moving. Interesting. Can you hear me clearly, Andrea?
Yes, I can. And you look lovely.
Okay, I just missed, I bet, a very juicy part of you. And I believe the introduction is over.
Yes, it is. But maybe you can introduce yourself too.
What is it? You want me to introduce myself too, is it?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I am basically a presentation skills trainer and a life coach. And they both kind of complement each other, because I find being a life coach helps with building confidence in people and how I train them to be better speakers and to express themselves. And talking about expressions, you are the epitome of that, Andrea.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, you express yourself through your music, which I love the voice. I've heard a few of the songs.
Thank you.
You express yourself through your words, through your art. I think this is all those things that you're really interested. Am I right or am I right?
You are right. You're definitely right. I do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about being vulnerable in leadership. And that seems kind of a strange thing to talk about, because a lot of people associate leadership with being strong or appearing to be strong. And here you are talking about being vulnerable. So, Andrea, would you like to take this topic? Take over
Sure.
and talk about this. Why do you say
Let me-
being vulnerable in leadership?
Let me start with a story of why no vulnerability came into the picture, or at least as a young teen, I never knew there was such a word called vulnerability until much later. But when I look back in my life, when I was in primary school up till secondary school, there is this need by everybody around me for me to be a strong person, a strong figure, right? Maybe because I'm quite outspoken then. So everybody expects me to be the leader, the strong person, take care of everything, the auntie, the motherly figure, the sister, everything is like in Hokkien, we call it Gao Tim. That means everything can be done. She'll be there to do and solve problems, right? Um, but over time, there's this sense of like, I'm living a lie, right? I'm constantly in battle with myself to say that actually I am not strong. I want to cry all the time. I just want to give up, let go of my responsibilities and say goodbye. I'm not sure if those who are watching, if you felt that in your life, but I definitely felt that a lot and many times in different points in my life up till today. And it was during one of these camps, a confirmation camp actually. So I'm a Catholic, so we have confirmation camps when we're 17 to make sure that we are choosing our faith as what we want it to be.
Voluntarily. Yeah.
Yes, correct, voluntary. Because we were baptized as kids, so we didn't have a say. But when you're 17, you have a say. And one of these camps, I grew up very close with my brother and sisters in a way, because brothers and sisters in the church. So we grew up very close, and everybody looked up to me to lead them. But during this camp, I actually broke down and I said that all of you think that I'm this strong person, but to be honest, I'm not, right? I'm just putting a front so that you do not be discouraged. And I opened a lot about it. And to be honest, that's how vulnerability came into place, or at least the word came into my life. And I started reading a lot about vulnerability. And it's something that holds very true up till today. I think vulnerability, not I think, I know vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a method of connection with yourself and others. And that is the key to any human experience. Without connection, there is no movement. So I think that's what if I were to sum it up, that's how vulnerability came into the picture, Sham.
Yeah, you're saying that it's connection with self and really getting in touch, maybe a bit of self introspection, and actually acknowledging that you're not perhaps perfect,
Yeah.
acknowledging that you have both strength and maybe something that's not so strong, and that's okay,
Yeah.
right? And that's the whole package, like the package that is balanced, that acknowledgement or the acceptance that it works for you being vulnerable. Am I correct? I mean, is that what you're trying to say? Like,
In a way,
Andrea?
yes. In a way, yes. But I also think that there's, like I mentioned to you, I think yesterday, right? There's a lot of noise around us. We are taught to accept and acknowledge things. We are taught to say that you just have to come to a closure, right? A conclusion. You got to know a certain level of certainty. You need to know certain things. You need to label them and stuff. But with vulnerability, it's such a broad understanding of your connection, right? Vulnerability is not like saying, okay, only if you accept that you are not this, or only if you acknowledge that you are horrible at that, that is vulnerability. I think I take a step further to say that it might not be true for everybody. And this is where authenticity comes from. Because if we are not able to really filter out the noise of what everybody is telling us to do, our vulnerability is only at surface level. Because deep down, we all have these certain expectations, we have certain beliefs, or, whether it is the way we think or the way we behave. Sometimes all these things are hidden within. You think that your intentions are clear, but maybe you've not dug deep enough. You've not asked yourself tough questions. So I wouldn't say that, okay, vulnerability is acceptance and acknowledgement. Yes, that is the sort of the midpoint goal of vulnerability. But if we don't go deep enough, we might not be digging to the right root. We are maybe just at the surface level on the soil, right? You see the roots, but it's not going down.
Yeah, and but that's a little bit, I guess it depends on the individual,
Yes,
whether
correct.
you're ready to actually dig deep.
Correct.
Because sometimes you may be in a situation where it's a bit too much what's happening around you, and you don't
Yes.
need right now to actually dig deep and perhaps even to look for to thriving. You kind of have to just survive, and may not be quite a good time to actually dig deep. So I'm wondering, like, why do you mention while being vulnerable in leadership? Let's take, for example, a head of an organization, and what serves as being vulnerable as a leader.
I mean, there's a lot of positive outcomes of vulnerability, yes. But before I go into that, there's this quote that I really like. When I was looking into research of vulnerability, Brene Brown came up. And she's one of my favorite
I
ever
know, yes, I
psychologists.
like her too.
I've been reading her books and I love it. She talks a lot about vulnerability and shame, resilience, and guilt and all these kind of things, the tough emotions, right? She mentioned something that vulnerability or authentic, true vulnerability is when you are able to share it with people who earn it. So the keyword here is earn it, who are ready to receive your vulnerability as well. Some people use vulnerability as a method to gain that kind of pity or empathy from other people, right? You can see this if you are very aware and you're super aware of what's going on. You'll be able to like, that doesn't sound quite right kind of feeling. But in leadership, when you don't share that vulnerability, for example, if you're a leader and you have employees, or you're a leader and you have members of a group, right? A close circle of friends or whatever it is. If you don't share a connection with them on a deeper level, if there is no give and take in a relationship, most likely it's not going to move past what you are currently having at this point of time. What I mean is,
Right.
for example, let's say me and Sharm, we are very close friends. Okay, let's pretend for a bit first. I mean, I do foresee we will be close eventually because I think we vibe.
Yeah, I think so
closely.
too. It's like we're kind of like-minded in some ways. So yeah, I see that happening actually.
I definitely see that too. I'm most likely to be calling Sham for weird things, but yeah. Let's say right now at this point of time, me and Sham, we are close friends, right? We hang out together, thinking that we're in the same country. We hang out together, we drink coffee together, we talk about family or friends or husband, wife, or whatever it is. We talk about our possible in my future, my children or people I work with. So we talk about a lot of things, right? But maybe at that point, I'm having a season of my life where I don't know where I'm heading towards, right? And there's this deep thing that, let's say I'm very successful and I have my career sorted out, but at this point in time, I feel like maybe this is not something I want to do. Now, if I don't have that conversation with Sham, she's not going to know what's going on inside me. She's not a mind reader. And she might not be able to help me move forward with my life, either by just being there or asking questions or just listening to what's going on. She and me, our relationship is going to be at that level. Same thing if, let's say, Sham is also having something that she's thinking, but she's not in that space to share with me, right? We won't know about the things that's going on with each other. So that's why I say if there is no vulnerability or true vulnerability, there is no movement. So in leadership, same thing with a company. I've read a lot of case studies as well. Big companies where their leaders are very how do I say, traditional. So they have to put a strict pace.
Hierarchy,
Yeah.
that thing where you order them and you just follow. That's it.
Yes, correct. But at that point, I had a quick conversation that day on executive loneliness as well. So somebody who wrote this book about executive loneliness talk about how people on top feel they're very alone because they can't share that burden. They can't tell a subordinate what they're facing because everyone's looking up to you, right? But when I read about these case studies, there are a lot of companies when they are heading towards a crisis, their leaders actually talk to their employees and say, hey, I don't know what to do. This is the problem. I really don't know what to do. And a lot of top management, that means the management right below the CEO or the leader of the company as a whole, they step up and they move forward together with the CEO. A lot of
Yeah,
companies.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, even the top people hire people to solve, solutions, to have solutions for challenges and problems. And one way to actually portray that to your colleagues is if you're actually a little bit open, right? And you share that there is an issue, there is a problem, there is a challenge. You're not saying that everything is hunky dory and it's all okay. No, a lot of times it's not, and that's why the
Yeah.
others are there to help out. So yes, and also I think it's also based on trust a lot.
Yes.
A lot of the relationship between leader and colleague, trust, and also and we have often you have talked about it as well, about being safe, psychologically safe,
Yes, that's
right?
right.
Yeah. So as a leader, what would you say, or perhaps could you give a tip on how could we think of being a bit vulnerable if we haven't already been?
I think for me, it's why be vulnerable? What motivates you to want to be vulnerable? And I'm not judging anybody's intention here, but that's a question that you need to answer. And some people might say, I don't need to be vulnerable. Why? I mean, it's a very Asian mentality as well. Like, people don't need to know
True,
my
true.
business.
Actually, it's a very Asian mentality. You got to, you got,
Yes,
as they say, you don't want to lose face.
correct. Yes,
And
you don't want to lose
I
face.
think a lot of us Asians feel like if we are showing that we are vulnerable, it's like we are kind of losing face and not appearing the what shall I say, the lion at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I think a lot of Asians do have that. Yes, we Asians, yes.
Yeah,
So
and so that's the question, right? Why do you want to be vulnerable in the first place? Or rather, let me make it a little bit simpler. Okay, vulnerability is a very scary word, I understand. What makes you want to share about what you are going through? That's the first question, right? The second most important question is who. So, for example, Sham say, sometimes you are not at the right time to share. I agree, right? Sometimes you're not at the season to dig deep and uncover all your complete mess. You open a Pandora box and that's it. Yeah, that's very important. But also who? Who are your support system? Who do you feel safe with? Who do you feel that if you say something, this person is not just going to leave you and leave you behind? We have so much fear of abandonment and shame and all these kind of things. So the who is very important. For example, if I were to be vulnerable about my work, is my boss somebody I can talk to? That's my biggest question. If I'm going to share my vulnerability about my struggles at work with my boss, am I safe to the point that he's not going to fire me or, take down my projects? That's a big question to ask. Maybe in terms of like your relationships or your friendships, if you're having trouble with, let's say, your partner, who do you speak to, right? Of course, I will always encourage speak to the person you have issues with, which is your partner itself. But I know it's a scary step for a lot of people. So for
I
me, I go to my mother.
Yeah, but I think it's very important because just a little bit of sharing, a little bit of honest sharing could save a
Mm,
lot of problems. Because just ignoring it is going to fester
mm.
underneath, whatever it's a project or whether it's feelings or ill feelings, whatever, it's going to fester. And if you had just snipped it in the bud and perhaps shared it and been honest about it in the beginning, it could have saved a lot of pain for both parties,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. And in a way,
Mm.
yes, vulnerability can solve certain problems or at least begin solving the right problem. I like this, somebody, when I was looking at couples therapy, it's so funny. So say that, are you sure this is the right problem? Because what you're saying might be all the fluff. But if we dig deep, then
Yes,
we'll find the right problem. So that's the
yes,
reason why
yes.
whatever solution you're doing is not working because you're not solving the right problem. And I love it. It's the same, right? Are we actually using vulnerability as only a problem solution? Or is it just a space for us to be heard?
And yes, I think, as you say, it's perhaps the first step. It's the first step, and I think it takes a lot of courage.
It does.
Contrary to saying that it's showing weakness, it actually takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, and that's courage is, of course, what shall I say, a symptom of a good leader, right? So yeah, this is nice. So, Andrea, what else do you have to offer us at this Global Empowerment Summit? Be bold together.
Yeah, so I have a lot to offer, but in this summit, I will have a workshop on the 20th of October for those who want to join me. It's gonna be a very interesting and interactive workshop. You won't be just listening; you will be doing. So if you enjoy that, come join me. The topic would be finding yourself again, and again. So definitely join me, and I will be also on a panel discussion on generational gaps and ageism. So that's a topic that I enjoy as well, and I'm so excited to have that. But if you ever feel like you need to speak to anybody or you just want to chat with me, please feel free to text me on my Instagram. I would love to have any conversation with anybody, especially in topics like vulnerability or just telling me what's going on, because I most likely will not know a lot of people, but I will be there to listen to you if there's a need. So that's what I have to offer most of the time.
Yeah, okay, cool. And just go check out what Andrea is offering. Really good stuff. I've spoken to her a little bit just in the past few days, and I like what she has to offer and what she has to say and what she has to express. So good on you, Andrea. Looking forward to your program.
Thank you, Sharm, for doing it. Thank you for both of you for being
Sharm.
here. And
thank
see
you,
very,
Andrea,
very
for
soon.
stepping in during this hitch we had. Thank you,
So
Andrea.
many Andreas.
Thank you for all the visitors and all the audience. Thank you, Splendid
you.
Grace, Marissa, and everyone who was watching us. Alena, Esther. Was really a pleasure to have you here. You can still write your questions in the comments, and we are coming up in a few minutes with Richard Thomas from Australia, who will help you with how to connect with your customer on their preferred platform. Very interesting topic. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
Take care.
Andrea.
Bye. Bye, Sharm. Bye, Andrea.